Hello there, and welcome to episode 7 of my Forbidden Door Total Extreme Wrestling save, where we take on AEW, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Today we've got Dynamite, so as such we're going to be running back the previous episode of Dark, which happened after Rampage at Daly's place. And it's just 4 matches on this week's Dark, starting with the United Empire, Cobb and Jonah Rock taking on and defeating the Varsity Blondes of Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. Wardlow squashes Marco Stunt. Quite simple. The Inner Circle of Hager, Ortiz and Santana defeat Solo, Komoroto and QT Marshall. And your main event in a triple threat match, Abaddon defeats Ali and Kylene King. Simple episode of Dark for you, just to try and boost up some of these channels and test how good the United Empire were together. That was the main purpose of this episode of Dark, considering they'd literally only debuted 3 segments earlier in our first 100 segment. I'm still proud about that, but let's go and see where we're taking place for this week for Dynamite. So Dynamite is going to be taking place in the Wings Event Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Not a hotbed, but Michigan, nice area for us to work in. It's an area we haven't been to yet. We're expecting about 4,000. We've got about a venue which fits 5,000, so means we can have a good entrance ramp like that. So let's go into this episode of AEW Dynamite. And the show kicks off with the in-ring debuts of the Inspiration, as Jessie McKay and Cassie Lee take on the Nightmare Family, technically, combination of Kylene King and Red Velvet. The Inspiration picks up the win when Cassie Lee pins Kylene King with a leg sweep DDT, which I was trying to picture. Is that like Naomi's leg DDT? No. Well, it's called the leg sweep DDT. It's kind of mixed between a DDT and a Russian leg sweep. So I guess it's kind of like Andrade's hammerlock DDT, just without the hammerlock. Interesting. But the Inspiration pick up the win. They're here in AEW and they are here to challenge. We then go to our CM Punk segment of the night, as CM Punk challenges Team Taz to a 6-man tag next week on Dynamite. It'll be Punk, Rock, and Cobb against Starks, Hobbs, and Hook. Hobbs and Cobbs. I didn't even click that, but that is accepted by Taz. And next week on Dynamite, Starks, Hobbs, and Hook versus Punk, Rock, and Cobb. Darby Allin challenges Wardlow for a match on Rampage. We feature MJF because that's who his main feud is with. That will obviously be who he faces at Full Gear. But gets a 64 rating. Great stuff. As for 2 of our 4 pillars, as they like to call it now. Jade Cargill gets a squash match against Nyla Rose as we try to build her up strong. It didn't work. It was awful. Gets a 25 rating. I'm really struggling with Cargill. I'm really struggling with her. I'm not sure what to do with her. And Nyla's pretty much just gone into obscurity at this point. She's now unknown. She has just disappeared. 25 rating. We then get Paul White, Mark Henry and Alex Marvez coming out. And they're going to be announcing 2 new titles in AEW. We're going to be getting the TBS title, or mid-card women's title, and 6-man titles. Both of those tournament brackets will be revealed next week on Dynamite. We'll then get Thunder Rosa defeats Jamie Hayter in 12:55 with a reverse DDT. 3rd match of the night, and they've all been women's matches so far. See, AEW, it's not that hard. All in 3 different storylines as well. But Thunder Rosa picks up the win, gets a 50, Hayter 44. Thunder Rosa is on her charge to Britt Baker. And then we're referencing something which happened on a different show. As Gallows and Anderson attack Christian backstage. Of course, Impact Champion Christian and Karl Anderson, #1 contender. So, gotta like that. Gets a 63 rating. Jurassic Express get a promo segment, and they're saying that these 6-man titles were practically made for them. They've been the 3-man group in AEW that's lasted the entire time. Even the Elite had times when they weren't friends. We were always friends. We were together. We've been together from basically the beginning. Those titles will be ours. Gets a 51 rating. Good promo. And then we get an interesting segment, another bit of referencing stuff which has happened elsewhere. As Kenny Omega goes into the Suzuki Goon locker room. And in there, of course, Zack Sabre Jr., Minoru Suzuki, and Lance Archer, they're chatting about their plans. Probably going after Moxley and Kingston still. And Zack Sabre Jr. just looks at Kenny, and Kenny just talks to Zack. He ignores Minoru and Lance. And Kenny's just pretty simple, just says, "Well done." And Kenny starts chatting because Zack Sabre Jr. is in the final of the G1, which will be in 3 episodes' time. We've got Impact, then Rampage, and then we get the G1. Zack Sabre Jr. will be in the final there against Kazuchika Okada. That's our main event for that show. And Omega's just congratulating him on making the final. He's chatting about when he won the G1. And he's just sort of just ignoring Suzuki and Archer. And it's not a major segment. This is just a segment to reference that Zack Sabre Jr. is in the G1 final. And Kenny Omega's a little bit like, I've done it first, I don't care. But still, congratulations, you made it when I'd already left. So he's just being a bit of a dick against Suzuki, Archer, and Sabre Jr. That's going to go and backfire eventually, isn't it? 85 rating. And then we get our TNT title match for the day as Sammy Guavara defeats Buddy Matthews with the 6:30. Buddy Matthews is in AEW now. And he wins, though, after Malachi Black. The lights go out. There's a thud. The lights come back on. Buddy Matthews is lying on the ground, and Malachi Black is sat on the stage. Sammy Guevara jumps up, gets the 6:30 on the laid out Buddy, and retains his TNT title. He's getting through these defenses quite quickly, you know. He's going to be breaking Miro and Darby's record quite soon at this rate. Gets a 61, and after that, Malachi Black cuts a promo on Buddy like, "Buddy, you couldn't just leave it at that, could you? You couldn't live without me. You couldn't live with your own failure. And look where that brought you. Straight back to me." So we're getting Malachi Black versus Buddy Matthews as our next big feud for Malachi. That will probably be paid off at Full Gear. Gets a 60 rating. And the main event match is Bryan Danielson defeat Matt Jackson in 18 minutes and 2 seconds with the Basuki running knee. Gets an 81 rating. Great stuff. It's just Bryan Danielson's revenge for the Young Bucks beat down on Friday. 81 rating. And the main event actual angle gets a 73 as Omega and Cole come out, as well as Nick Jackson, which brings out Hangman Page and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They get into a brawl, and it's announced that on Rampage we're going to rerun that tag team match we didn't get, Danielson and Page versus Omega and Cole. And next week on Dynamite we're getting the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. It's a 73 rating. Overall, what does the show get? A 73, which increased our pop in 17 regions. Love that. So, the storylines we kind of done. We now got 2 new titles. We'll be revealing the brackets for those in next episode of Dynamite. This week on Rampage, we're going to be getting Darby Allin versus Wardlow. Bryan Danielson and Adam Page versus Kenny Omega and Adam Cole. And I don't know if there's any other matches which we confirmed here, but there will be more. Like Suzuki Goon will be in action this Friday in a 6-man tag. I don't know who their opponent's going to be yet, but those are the 3 matches which are confirmed, and we're probably going to have a women's division match as well. But that's in 2 episodes' time, so we don't need to worry about that. If you enjoyed this episode, don't make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for frequent Forbidden Door episodes, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!